In the vast deserts and plateaus of northern China, a quiet revolution is underway. Where wind once carved endless dunes, millions of blue photovoltaic panels now stretch across the horizon, glimmering under the sun and symbolizing China's ambition to reinvent its energy future. Once barren land has become a critical center of the global clean energy movement, demonstrating the country's ability to transform challenges into opportunity. For much of the 20th century, China's extraordinary economic growth was powered primarily by coal. Factories churned ceaselessly, and black smoke filled the skies above Beijing, Shanghai, and other industrial hubs. Rivers were contaminated, air quality declined, and public health suffered, reflecting the hidden costs of rapid industrialization. By the early 2000s, the environmental consequences had become impossible to ignore. Pollution was no longer a localized problem. It was a national crisis that threatened both human health and long-term economic stability. At the same time, climate change had shifted from a distant theory to an urgent global reality. China, the world's largest emitter of carbon dioxide, faced a critical choice: continue its reliance on fossil fuels or pivot toward renewable energy. Rather than slowing growth, the nation chose evolution. The transition required a profound shift in political, economic, and technological thinking, combined with massive investments in research, infrastructure, and industrial capacity. Initially, this focus on renewable energy was driven by necessity: the need to improve air quality, diversify energy sources, and secure long-term energy stability. Over time, it became a deliberate vision, aiming to position China as a global leader in clean energy. By 2020, China had established solar farms the size of cities across deserts in Gansu, Inner Mongolia, and Qinghai. High-voltage transmission lines transported electricity hundreds of kilometers to industrial centers on the eastern coast. From above, these installations resemble enormous blue tapestries, a testament to the scale of China's ambition. The country's embrace of solar energy is not merely an environmental endeavor. It is an exercise in technology, strategy, and national identity. Within a single generation, China evolved from a solar importer to a manufacturer of more than 80% of the world's panels, turning renewable energy into both a thriving industry and a tool of global influence. China's solar story begins in the 1990s, when the nation was still known as the factory of the world, heavily dependent on coal. At that time, renewable energy was largely experimental and considered prohibitively expensive. The country's focus remained on rapid industrialization and economic growth, with sustainability largely deferred to the future. By the decade's end, however, environmental degradation had reached a tipping point. Thick smog blanketed cities, acid rain affected farmland, and public health declined. Policymakers recognized that economic expansion without environmental management was unsustainable. China's entry into the World Trade Organization in 2001 marked a turning point. Increased foreign investment and technological exchange exposed the country to global standards and new possibilities, including renewable energy. By the mid-2000s, the government enacted landmark legislation such as the Renewable Energy Law of 2005, providing subsidies, tax incentives, and guaranteed grid access for renewable power producers. Solar and wind energy were elevated to equal status with coal and hydroelectric power, signaling a commitment to long-term transformation. The domestic solar industry was initially modest, relying heavily on imported panels. A few pioneering companies, including Suntech Power, Trina Solar, and JA Solar, emerged as early innovators. With government support and strategic experimentation, these firms began to master photovoltaic technology. By 2010, production scale and technological advances had dramatically reduced costs, turning solar energy from a niche solution into a practical, affordable option. European nations, which once led solar development, increasingly imported Chinese panels, demonstrating the nation's growing global influence. China's approach combined centralized strategic planning with local flexibility. Provinces were given renewable energy quotas, state banks provided low-interest loans, and remote land was allocated for solar experimentation. This coordination allowed for rapid deployment at an unprecedented scale. At the same time, the government framed the transformation philosophically, promoting the concept of ecological civilization, which emphasized harmonizing development with environmental responsibility. By 2015, China had constructed some of the world's largest solar farms and emerged as a major exporter of panels, combining economic growth, environmental protection, and technological leadership. China's solar megaprojects exemplify its ambition. The Tengger Desert Solar Park in Ningxia, known as the Sea of the Sun, spans over 43 square kilometers and generates more than 1.5 gigawatts of electricity. Its location in a harsh desert environment demonstrates China's ability to convert extreme conditions into energy advantages, using clear skies and high sunlight exposure to maximize efficiency. The Longyangxia Dam Solar Park in Qinghai integrates solar and hydroelectric power in a hybrid system, ensuring consistent energy supply even when sunlight is intermittent. In Shanxi Province, the Panda Green Energy Project merges utility with symbolism, creating a solar installation shaped like a panda to inspire public engagement while producing substantial energy. Further innovation extends to Inner Mongolia and Xinjiang, where hybrid solar-wind storage plants link to the ultra-high voltage grid, transmitting electricity across mountains, deserts, and rivers to densely populated eastern provinces. These projects require meticulous planning beyond panels and cables. Terrain leveling, dust control, local employment, environmental management, and high-altitude engineering are all essential. A coordinated network of scientists, engineers, and regional authorities ensures that projects meet both local and national objectives, combining innovation with governance. China's solar revolution is also a story of technology. Photovoltaic cells have been refined for efficiency, lowering costs dramatically. Leading companies, including Longi Green Energy, Jinko Solar, and Trina Solar, continually improve materials, cell architecture, and production processes. Advanced tracking systems follow the sun, while artificial intelligence monitors performance and maintenance. Massive battery storage addresses the intermittency of solar energy, and emerging technologies such as floating solar farms and space-based solar collection promise further expansion. Smart grids powered by big data ensure electricity is distributed efficiently across vast distances, integrating renewable energy into urban and industrial infrastructure. Policy and strategy have been crucial. The goal of carbon neutrality by 2060 underpins legislation, subsidies, and incentives. Cities are being redesigned as green cities, with integrated solar infrastructure and electric transport, while rural regions host megaprojects that generate energy, create jobs, and stimulate innovation. Through initiatives like the Belt and Road, China exports panels, grid systems, and technical expertise, shaping global renewable energy adoption. Despite its successes, China faces challenges. Raw material sourcing, environmental impact from mining, recycling old panels, and social consequences such as land use and relocation require careful management. Balancing rapid industrial growth with sustainability remains a delicate process, highlighting the complexity of scaling renewable energy nationally and globally. Yet the economic, environmental, and technological benefits have been substantial, providing clean power, improving air quality, and accelerating global renewable energy adoption. China's influence is now global. By lowering costs and increasing accessibility, it has enabled many nations to adopt solar energy more rapidly, while prompting others to develop their own domestic capacities, driving innovation worldwide. China's renewable energy expansion illustrates both the promise and complexity of a sustainable future, emphasizing responsibility alongside scale and ambition. Beyond technical and economic achievements, China's solar transformation is reshaping social and cultural perspectives. Citizens are increasingly aware of environmental stewardship, with schools, communities, and industries embracing clean energy practices. Public engagement campaigns, eco-friendly policies, and visible renewable projects have cultivated a broader societal shift towards sustainability, reinforcing the alignment of policy, technology, and everyday life. Looking ahead, China's focus on emerging technologies such as floating solar farms, space-based energy collection, and advanced storage systems points to a future where energy generation becomes increasingly flexible, efficient, and abundant. Its solar megaprojects, smart grids, and integrated energy systems reflect a philosophy that harmonizes growth with environmental stewardship. The panels that shimmer across deserts and plains are more than infrastructure. They are symbols of foresight, human ingenuity, and the transformative power of light. The story of China's solar revolution is still unfolding. It is a story of vision, ambition, and adaptation, demonstrating that even the largest challenges can be met when technology, policy, and human ingenuity align. The future of energy is already taking shape in China, illuminated by the sun and powered by a commitment to a cleaner, brighter world.